Is the person you love predestined by God, or is it all just coincidence? A question that can change fate. Have you ever met someone and felt an invisible force, as if the entire universe conspired to bring you together? You wonder, is this the one God has chosen for me, or is it all just a coincidence? Love is one of life's greatest mysteries. Some believe that God has predestined the perfect person for them, someone they simply have to wait to meet. But the Bible also speaks of free will, reminding us that we are not just pawns in God's hands, but co-creators of our own lives. So, is love destiny or choice? If God has a plan for everything, do we truly have the power to decide? And if we are free to choose, is it possible to unknowingly stray from His plan? Let's explore this question by balancing God's divine plan with human free will. 1. God's plan and free will. Many people believe that love is part of God's divine plan, that from the moment we are born, God has already prepared a life partner for us. This belief stems from the idea that God is all-knowing and has foreseen everything that will happen. Psalm 139:16 states, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." This verse suggests that God has a detailed plan for our lives, one that may include who we will marry. But does this mean we should simply wait for the one that God has chosen? Or do we still have a responsibility to seek love? God guides, but humans choose. The Bible also emphasizes free will multiple times, teaching that we have the ability to make choices that shape our destiny. In Deuteronomy 30:19, God declares, "I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life so that you and your children may live." If God allows humans to make choices in matters as critical as life and death, then surely love is no exception. God may open doors, orchestrate meetings, and create opportunities, but it is ultimately up to us to decide whether to walk through those doors. He may place someone in our lives, but if we are not open to love or fail to appreciate that person, the relationship may never flourish. A biblical example, Adam and Eve, destiny or choice. Adam and Eve were the first couple in history, yet even they had the freedom to choose. Though Eve was created to be Adam's companion, Adam still had to choose to love and cherish her. If love were purely predestined, Adam would have had no choice but to love Eve. But that was not the case. Love is not just about meeting the right person. It is also about nurturing and building the relationship. If we simply believe that God has arranged everything without putting in effort, even relationships that seem God-ordained can fall apart. So, how can we distinguish between a love that comes from God and a relationship that is purely coincidental? This leads us to the next crucial question. 2. Divine orchestration and life-changing encounters. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt a strong connection, as if you had known them before, even though it was your first meeting? Or have you ever taken a different route than usual, made a small change in your plans, and unexpectedly met someone who changed your life? These moments make us wonder, was this encounter arranged by God? Does God truly orchestrate the meetings in our lives? The Bible contains many stories of encounters that were not mere coincidences, but seem to have been divinely arranged. Isaac and Rebekah, Genesis 24. When Abraham sent his servant to find a wife for his son Isaac, the servant did not choose randomly. Instead, he prayed for God's guidance. And God led him to Rebekah, a woman who, from the very first interaction, displayed kindness and virtue. This shows that God can guide us to significant encounters, but we must still take action and make choices. Ruth and Boaz, Book of Ruth. Ruth, a widowed woman, followed her mother-in-law to a foreign land. She had no certainty about her future, but through her faithfulness and trust in God, she met Boaz, a kind and compassionate man. This encounter not only changed Ruth's life, but also became part of the lineage leading to the birth of Jesus Christ. This teaches us that God can use seemingly ordinary circumstances to bring the right people into our lives. These stories illustrate that sometimes God not only provides us with a life partner, but also orchestrates the paths and opportunities for us to find them. How can you recognize a relationship? Orchestrated by God. Whether or not we believe that God has predestined our spouse, there are signs that can help us discern whether a relationship is truly from Him. 1. The relationship draws you closer to God. A love that comes from God will not pull you away from your faith but will help you grow spiritually. 2 Corinthians 6:14. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. This means that a godly relationship should not cause you to compromise your faith and values. 2. The person reflects God's values. Does this person exhibit kindness, honesty, compassion, and a heart for goodness? Proverbs 31:10. A wife of noble character who can find, she is worth far more than rubies. This applies to both men and women. A godly life partner will embody the qualities that God values. 3. The love brings peace, not anxiety. If your relationship is filled with doubts, fears, and unease, it may not be from God. Colossians 3:15. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. A true love will always bring peace to your soul. Can we miss what God has orchestrated? Another important question is, if God has a plan for our love life, can we accidentally miss the person He has arranged for us? The answer is yes. Because God gives us free will, if we are not open to His guidance or do not listen to His direction, we may stray from the best path He has planned. However, this does not mean we will never find love. God always has ways to lead us back to the right path. 3. Prayer and wisdom. When it comes to love, many people tend to leave everything to fate. They believe that if God has destined someone for them, they will somehow meet without having to do anything. However, faith is not passive. Faith requires us to pray, seek, and make wise choices. Prayer, the way to hear God's guidance. The Bible teaches that God listens and guides us when we ask Him. James 1-5. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. When uncertain about a relationship, ask God for wisdom. Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and He shall give you the desires of your heart. If the love you seek aligns with God's will, He will guide you to it. But prayer is not just about speaking. It is also about listening. Sometimes God's answers do not come immediately. He may use the peace in your heart, your circumstances, or people of faith to help you recognize His guidance. Wisdom. Making responsible choices in love. God can guide you, but He does not force you to love someone. He gives you intelligence and discernment, so choosing whom to love is your responsibility. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. God does not want you to make love decisions based solely on emotions, but with self-control, wisdom, and responsibility. Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Before falling in love, ask yourself, does this relationship help me grow or lead me away from my faith? Prayer and wisdom help you avoid mistakes. Many people make mistakes when they love out of loneliness, not because it's the right person. They rely on fleeting emotions rather than long-term values. They ignore red flags. If you truly seek God's will, He will open your eyes to what is right, helping you distinguish between love that comes from Him and temporary temptation. 4. Love is a journey, not just destiny. Many believe that when they meet the one God has planned for them, the relationship will naturally flourish without much effort. But the truth is, even if God orchestrates a meeting, love still requires effort, sacrifice, and commitment from both sides. Love is a choice, not just destiny. Even in relationships guided by God, you must choose to love daily. Love cannot endure if it is based only on temporary emotions or a vague idea of destiny. Colossians 3:14, "And above all these put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony." Love is not just something that happens naturally. It is something we must put on, choose, and nurture every day. 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, "Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." If love were merely destiny, why does the Bible emphasize patience, forgiveness, and effort? This proves that love does not automatically last without being nurtured. A lasting relationship requires effort from both sides. If God has planned someone for you, He also expects you to take action to maintain that relationship. Life example: a garden, even if planted in fertile soil, needs watering, pruning, and protection from pests. If you neglect it, the plants will wither. Love is the same. Marriage is the clearest example of this. When you make vows before God, you do not say, "I will love this person as long as things are easy." Instead, "I choose to love this person through challenges and hardships." This commitment turns love into a journey, not just a preordained destination. God leads, but you must walk. God can open doors, but you must step through. He can place an amazing person in your life, but if you do not cherish and nurture the relationship, it can still fall apart. 5. Trusting in God's plan. When it comes to love, people often struggle between two extremes. One side believes everything is predestined, while the other thinks everything is random. But the Bible teaches that God has a plan for each person, and He also gives us free will to choose and walk in that plan. God knows what is best for you. Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God is not distant or indifferent to your love life. He has a good plan, but sometimes you need patience to realize it. Proverbs 3:5-6. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." In love, you may think you know what is best, but God sees the bigger picture. If you seek Him, He will guide you to the right relationship. True love comes at the right time, with the right person, according to God's will. We often rush, worry, or hastily commit to someone out of fear of loneliness. But remember, true love does not come from time pressure, but according to God's timing. Ecclesiastes 3:11. "He has made everything beautiful in its time." If you have not found love yet, it does not mean God has forgotten you. It means He is preparing something better. When you trust in God's plan, you will have less fear, less anxiety, and more peace when navigating relationships. Conclusion: is the person you love chosen by God, or just a coincidence? The answer is not just yes or no. It is a combination of both. One, God has a plan and provides guidance, but He does not force. 2, we have free will to choose and nurture love. 3, love is not just destiny. It is a journey that requires effort. 4, if you seek God in your relationship, He will guide you to what is best. Instead of simply waiting for fate or rushing blindly into love, pray, seek God, listen to His guidance, and walk with wisdom. In the end, do not just ask, "Has God chosen a partner for me?" but rather ask, "Am I ready to be the partner God wants me to be?"